Hey third graders, in this video we're going to review a few strategies we use to subtract numbers when regrouping. At the end of the video, I'm going to show you one new strategy you can use when subtracting three-digit numbers. Our learning target for this video is I can subtract three-digit numbers with regrouping. Let's review. Subtraction means you are taking away. For example, let's say I have $10 and I go to the store to buy some snacks. I buy a box of cookies that cost $3. I'm wondering, how much money do I have left? Well, I know when I go to the store, I bring $10 with me. I decide I want some cookies, and when I go to pay for them, I take $3 and give them to the cashier. I'm left with these $7. I can say that 10 minus 3 equals 7. So I had $10, I took 3 away, and I had $7 left. We can rewrite numbers in different ways without changing their value. Here, I have the number 347. I can write this number in expanded form by writing 300 plus 40 plus 7. I can also write this number as 300 plus 30 plus 17, or I can write this number as 200 plus 140 plus 7. All three of these sentences look different, but they have the same value of 347. So let's review some strategies. One way we can subtract a three-digit number is by drawing a picture. First, we start by looking at our big number. In this case, that number is 435. I'm going to draw 435 using base 10 blocks to represent the value of each digit. So I have 4 hundreds, I have 3 tens, and I have 5 ones. When I draw my ones, I like to draw them in rows of 5 so I can think of them as if they were in a 10 frame. Next, I'm going to think about the number I am taking away, so this number on the bottom. I'm taking away 162. I'm not going to draw this number, but I am going to write it in expanded form so that I can see the value of each digit to help me understand exactly what I'm subtracting. So this becomes 100 plus 60 plus 2. I'm always going to start in the same place, which is the ones. So first I look at the ones and I see that I have 5 ones and I want to take 2 away. I'm going to cross off 2 of my ones and I notice that I'm left with 3 ones. Next, I look at my tens place. I notice I have 3 tens, but I want to take 6 tens away. I realize I don't have enough. Where can I go to get more tens? Well, I know that each of these hundreds have 10 tens in them. So I'm going to take 100 and I'm going to break it into 10 tens so that I have more tens to work with. So now, instead of having 3 tens, I have 13 tens, or 130. I can take 60 from 130. So here's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 tens, and I'm left with 7 tens, or 70. Then I move on to my hundreds. I have 100 to take away. So I'm going to cross off 100, and I notice I'm left with 200. So when I look, I'm left with 200 plus 70 plus 3. When I write that in standard form, my answer is 273. All right, let's look at our next strategy. We can also subtract using expand and trade. When I use this strategy, I immediately think of expanded form from the word expand. This time, instead of drawing pictures, I'm going to expand each number into expanded form to see the value of each digit. 435 becomes 400 plus 30 plus 5, and 162 becomes 100 plus 60 plus 2. When I expand my numbers, it's super important that I line up my hundreds, tens, and ones so that I can see what I'm subtracting at what time. So I'm going to start by exactly the same way I did when I was drawing my picture, and I'm going to look at my ones. I remember I had 5 ones, and I took 2 away, which left me with 3 ones. Then I went to my tens, and I see that I have 3 tens, but I want to take away 6 tens or 60. I don't have enough. When I think back to my picture, I remember I had 4 hundreds, and so I took one of my hundreds and I gave it to my tens. So instead of 3 tens, I was left with 13 tens, which is the same as 130. I could take away my 6 tens, and I was left with 70. Then I go to my hundreds place, and I have 3 hundreds left. If I take one of them away, I remember I was left with 200. When I write this number in a standard form, I get 273. So you might notice that even though we use 2 different strategies, our answers are the same. Now we're going to take what we know about expanded form and drawing pictures to practice something we call the standard algorithm. This is sometimes referred to as stack math. When we solve subtraction using the standard algorithm, we're going to start in the same place that we always do, the ones. I know that if I have 5 ones and I take 2 ones away, I'm left with 3 ones. Next, I move to my tens place. I know that this 3 really means 30 and this 6 really means 60. I do not have enough tens to take 60 away. I'm going to think about where I can get more tens. In my picture, in an expanded form, I got more tens by borrowing some from the hundreds. I know this 4 really means 400 and this 1 really means 100. So I'm going to cross up this 4 and pretend I'm taking 100 and giving it to my tens. So I'm left with 3 hundreds, and I remember I had 13 tens because I had 10 more than were there to begin with. Now I can take 6 tens from 13 tens, and I'm left with 7 tens. Then I moved to my hundreds. I had 3 hundreds. I took 100 away, and I'm left with 2 hundreds. So my answer is 273. You should notice that we used 3 different strategies, and all 3 times we got the same answer. When you're subtracting, it's important to remember that you can use these strategies to check your work. For example, if you solve using expand and trade, you might use drawing a picture or the standard algorithm to check your work. If you use the standard algorithm, you might check your work by drawing a picture or using expanded form. If you're practicing subtraction and you realize you need another example or you have questions, feel free to ask your teacher.